Looks like Shams is breaking.
Yep, Shams just
Timme.
broke it. Your boy, your stadium boy,
Yep,
Timme is coming back to school.
there it is. There it is.
It's the right decision. All right,
Uh,
you know what? Let's get into that conversation then. Should Gonzaga be the preseason number one team in college basketball?
yes. Yes. I mean, again, listen, you're loaded right now. I know everybody will say, well, they didn't win at all. They didn't do this. They didn't do that. But, you know, Timme back, Strother back, Bolton back. You lose Nemhard. You lose Chet, obviously. That hurts. You hope that one of Hickman, and you might add some, again, you might add another piece here. Malachi Smith from Chattanooga, he could end up transferring there. That would give you the point guard that you're looking for, the older point guard to go with Hickman. Hunter Salas. They added Efton Reed up front. He's not Chet Holmgren, but he'll help. And they've got some other young players. So
Here's my take on that, right? I think you can make a very strong argument that if Nolan Hickman makes the jump that a lot of us expect him to, a guy that was a top 15 recruit coming into college, didn't really play as a freshman. Same thing with Hunter Salas. I believe he was a McDonald's All-American, 5-star guy, didn't really play all that much coming into college. He's back for his sophomore year. You bring back Rasir Bolton, you bring back Julian Strother, who is a guy that has the potential to end up developing into an NBA player one day, right? Those four guys, probably the best backcourt / perimeter group in college basketball, right?
yep.
Drew Timme, 2-time first team All American. Some people would have had him as National Player of the Year as a sophomore, potentially. He's coming back. He's going to be very much in the conversation for the best player in college basketball this year. I don't know how you can argue against that, right? So you got a guy at the 5 who might end up being the best player in college basketball. You maybe have the best backcourt / perimeter in all of college basketball, and you got a guy in Anton Watson who can just kind of like fit in there perfectly as the 4-man to bring all of those pieces together, who doesn't give a shit about getting his shots up. I'm kind of sick of the Gonzaga storyline myself. Just like it's become so repetitive. Yes, they're really good. Yes,
Yeah.
they play in the WCC. Yes, they beat up on these bad teams. Yes, it is. This is what it is. Yes, we have to argue about it all the time, and I'm so sick of that conversation. But like, how do you pick against them with Timme back? How do you do it? You
You
can't do
can't.
it.
I don't think you can preseason. I don't think you can. But again, it's going to largely depend on the guards right now and point guard play and how good Hickman is, and if they get Malachi Smith. And but yeah, I think the safe pick is Gonzaga at number one in the preseason. That's kind of the easy pick. But again, the naysayers will say, well, they can't win the big one. They get overwhelmed once they get into the turn. And listen, some of that is true, especially you're not going to have Chet. So, you know, Timme against big time athletes does have issues. But again, Timme in the WCC and Timme in college basketball for the most part has been pretty damn dominant. And he'll continue to be dominant. And maybe, again, maybe it will be something now where it was, hey, coach, I'll come back, but you got to let me shoot threes. Like, you got to let me, you got to force me to shoot threes if I'm not doing it. I'm not going to sit in the paint. I'm not going to face dudes up and do my spin moves all the time. I need to be able to shoot threes and see if I can do it and expand my game.
Yeah. Where would you rank him in terms of best college basketball players kind of this generation? Because I think that he's right there with Tyler Hansbrough in terms of like the best careers that I have seen college basketball players have.
Yeah, I mean, the difference is Hansbrough won a title.
Senior year, came back.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, he won one. I'm saying, yeah, at this point, I guess they would be comparable. The biggest difference is we saw Tyler Hansbrough every single night. And with Drew Timme, he goes away for the better part of 2 months.
Mm-hmm.
And really 2 months, you're talking about him. Obviously, when they play St. Mary's and BYU, we care. The diehards watch. The casual college basketball fan is not staying up at 10 o'clock at night to watch a Gonzaga BYU or Gonzaga St. Mary's game. They're just not. So that was the difference with Tyler Hansbrough. His exposure, his profile was just 100 times bigger.
Yep. Yep. It's I do kind of feel for him a little bit. And look, I feel for Gonzaga fans that have to deal with this every year. If you look at any other program that would have gone to 2 of the last 5 national title games, that has been a constant staple among the top 3 in all of college basketball by metrics, by people that break it down, by looking at the amount of talent that they have coming into the program, by looking at draft picks, by looking at pros, whatever it is, Gonzaga's right there with anybody that you want to put them up against in terms of success and in terms of the ability to churn out professionals. But we consider them bust because honestly, they've probably been too good for their own good.
Yeah, the expectation, and again, there's always that, like, the haters. There's there's always those Gonzaga haters, and I don't quite get it. Maybe Timme's turned people into a little bit of that because, he's got some shit to him and he'll talk, do the stash thing and all that. But other than that, like, who's been hated that's come through there since, like, Adam Morrison?
There really hasn't been anybody.
Right.
Like, it's just kind of they are what they are. And I think the pushback is people that are trying to be different, that are saying just to be contrarian. They get frustrated by the fact that people like us keep talking about them when they haven't won a national title. When, like, by the way, knocking off UCLA in that dogfight in the Final Four that they won, that's kind of one of the big one, right? Yep. Getting to the Final Four past, I believe who did they beat? It was Oregon, right? They beat a really good Oregon team that had a bunch of pros, Pritchard, Jordan Bell, Chris Duarte. They beat that team in the Final Four. That's kind of winning the big one, right? And I know they got smacked around by Baylor, but look, if Baylor doesn't get COVID in the middle of that COVID year, they probably go undefeated. Yep. So, look, Gonzaga's awesome.